Welcome to Untitled TV with the review of the brand new Nokia Lumia 630 smartphone. We will show you a little bit around the hardware, and after we will show you a little bit, of course, about the brand new Windows Phone 8.1 software, which here is the first device that has it actually on market, and this is also the first device by Nokia with Windows Phone that has dual SIM, as you can see here on top. But of course there's the possibility to just use a single SIM if you want to buy that, but it's only 10 bucks cheaper. Actually, the phone is 159 euros here in Germany, so it's about the same price in US dollar without taxes, and with the dual SIM it's just 10 bucks more, as I said. So let's start a little bit with the hardware. You can see we have a beautiful 4.5-inch FW VGA screen, which means 854 times 480 pixel resolution. We have no camera on the front in this price range. Of course, that would be hard for Nokia to accomplish, but we have a really good 5-megapixel camera in the back, which we'll of course demonstrate later. We have here speakers built in, and on the top headphone port. On this side there's the on and off switch and volume rocker. There's no dedicated camera button in this one, and there's also here on the bottom, of course, micro USB for charging and putting stuff on your 8 GB internal memory. So taking off the back cover is quite easy. You can change these up. There is right now 5 colors available in which you will be able to buy the phone, or are able to buy the phone because it's out right now. It's yellow, orange, green, white and black. So this is of course, as you can see, yellow. Then we have here the micro SIM and standard SIM and the micro SD. The battery is interchangeable, and here you can of course again see the camera. Alright, let's put that back on, and then you can really see it's really quite nice to hold in your hand. You have this matte, not rubberish, but nice good plastic feeling, like for example with the Moto G, which will I show at the end in comparison, and also my Apple iPhone 5s, so have a little bit of a feeling of how big the device is. So if I turn it on again, you can see of course you have some appointments right now, what time it is, and I can easily just slide up and just go here through my live tiles. Now my live tiles are right now in just 2 rows, mainly because in this device now you can set up, if you want, 3 rows to have in Windows Phone 8.1. This is a brand new option and cool option, or you can just have 2 if you would want that. You can just easily go into the settings, which are now available right here from sliding down, all settings. And you can go here to start and theme, and right here on the bottom you can switch between 2 or 3 rows. Now on small devices in the early Windows Phone days it was only 2, and this is how it looked like, quite boring. Everything was big. Of course you had the possibility to also put small live tiles here. Actually, let me fix that here up. But it's of course a lot nicer this way if you have 3. Oops. Let's go back here and have 3, and then you can see how a lot nicer that looks. Of course now everything shifted to the left, and you have to adjust all your live tiles again how you would want them, for example. But of course that's quite easy to do and a quite fast thing here to set up. I won't do the whole thing right now, of course, just a few things to show you later, a few functions in the brand new Windows Phone device. Like for example, we have now the possibility, as I said, to do 2 SIM cards in this device if you would buy that version, and you can also see here up here the name and the signal. We are also on Wi-Fi right now. If you swipe this down, right now you don't see the battery, you don't see the battery percentage and what date we have today, but if I slide this down you can see here both also, which is I think quite nice. Also here the 4 buttons you have here on top. For example, I have now camera, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth and the brightness. You can change those up if you want. Of course you can also here go a little bit brighter, but I think on the lowest it's best for the camera for you guys to see. And if I already mentioned here the camera, or shown here the camera, let's try the camera, which, as I said, with 5 megapixels shoots quite nice pictures, but we don't have here actually a flash built in, which is a little bit sad if you would want to shoot a little bit low light something, and no front camera is also not great. Let's just shoot here the Coke. Check out our picture. And you can quite nicely here see all small details. You can read everything quite nicely, also small things. Even though it was just 5 megapixel, there's not too great light here for that, but it still looks quite nice. Of course, there's possibilities to edit reframe. And also when you are in the camera you have the possibility here to go to smart sequence. When for example somebody would walk by or I would move my hand and through the picture you can choose from a few pictures that the camera is taking. Of course videos are also possible. And when I go back here to camera, oops, let's go back to camera. We have here also the possibility to have the pro functions here on the side, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You can turn those on and off. So even for, you could say, cheap smartphone, there's quite a few options here that you can choose from in the device. So, camera is the one thing that you have to always check in a review, but also, as I said, with the dual SIM, you have quite a few features, like when you go to just dial or to your contacts, let's call Frank for example, you can see you can choose between calling with Vodafone or with Telecom, for example, here. But you can also go directly to contacts. Let me do it like this. Contacts. Maybe it's German? No, I'm not sure. Why is it? Or is it something with book? Interesting. Okay, so let's just go through like this. Glance. I usually use this phone in German, so in German it would be just contacts. Now it's called people. Here, when you just go here to a contact, you can also say not only, oops, don't call and call. You can also set up which should be the SIM that you would like to contact with the person usually with. You can also send a text message, and with the text message you can also choose up here with which SIM you would want to send those texts. But of course, if you maybe don't want these names because you have different SIM cards with different countries, for example, or maybe both are telecom here in Germany and one is from your company, one is your private, you can also change the name. If I just go here to the settings, you can go here to cellular and SIM. You can choose from which one the data connection would be, a 3G or not 3G, and we can also set up here SIM settings 1, SIM name, so you can just change the name completely to work or private or something like that, which is of course quite good, and change also all the other stuff that you are maybe a pro in. So that's about dual SIM. What's also quite important, you maybe have seen it before right here when I wanted to write a text. The keyboard didn't change at all. We have actually a German keyboard right now that switched to English. You can type here simple text, hello, but now you have also the possibility to use swipes, so I could just do this. And this is really quite good. I can really write something like Washington, or I don't know, something longer like, or more complicated like Taipei. But as you can see, it works quite good, and you can quite easily set it up to use by just going again here to settings. Then keyboards, it doesn't work for all languages because Microsoft wants to give you the best experience with this kind of keyboard. So for example, here when I go to English, type as I swipe through letters, so you really have to set it up here on the bottom. I didn't find it before in my German review, but yeah, here for example in Finnish it's also possible, and of course there's a few other languages that you can add if you're a multi-language user like I am, for example. Now, the sun is a little bit coming out, so let's switch here up the brightness. So, what else can I show you guys? There's of course quite a few things that are added now. For example, the battery saver is quite handy to just see what is using a lot of battery. You can go here to the settings, check out how much time you maybe have left here with the battery. Actually, 75% is actually when we started the video, I think, so it's not going that much down, even though the camera is running all the time. And, oops, let's go back here. And you can also not only see the apps, but you can also here go to battery saver, for example. You can allow to run in the background, don't allow to run in the background. There's of course some apps where you cannot restrict that, but for example weather app, maybe it should not run in the background because you don't want that. Also the calendar, quite an important feature which is now of course still built into the device, but it's an external app, so it will get more frequent updates. And actually let's go to the calendar, which I hope I can now find this way. Yes, here, where this is my favorite thing, which is also a little bit quite new, the weekly view. We had, of course, before daily and something like that, but week is really quite awesome because you can just here go through the weeks, see your whole month here on the bottom, and if you type one or just go here to the day today, 14th of May, you can see then here in little files what's happening today, what you have to do today, and also the weather sign up here for your location, weather where you are at right now. And of course you have some settings, tasks and everything that you can still add. So that's also a small little thing that is still quite cool. The same thing here for photos. We had a photo before, and you can see, of course, you can set up here a few things, you can edit them. But what I think is kind of cool, since we have now the buttons on the screen, oops, if you flip the phone, the icons will flip also with it. And about the icons, we can also set up the icons to have different colors. They cannot be see-through. Let me actually check here to show you guys the screen rotation brightness on my phone. Should be somewhere here, navigation bar, always dark, so it's not always black. You can also say match background, so for example if I'm in a browser then it will be gray, but you can also say match the accent color, which is in my case right now orange, but of course you can set that up, oops, all the way up here on the top at start and theme. Where you have here, for example, the possibility to change to green, and now it's green or lime, dark green. And you can also choose the background color, which right now is this. I don't know what it is in the background, but let's just go back here. Oops. Choose photo, backgrounds, and here you go. Let's do something green, for example, and you can set up also the picture to go a little bit left or right. And here we go, now I have some leaves in the background, which will stay there when we browse through here, looking quite good, as far as I think. Of course, it doesn't have to be black in the background, it can also be white or another color. And as you were able to see also here with holding the back button for a while, you can see here all the apps that are running. You cannot swipe them away like in Apple, but you can just hit the X button. What you can do is close all or see, for example, the RAM and everything, but still, this is quite a cool feature. So, there's not much else to show you guys, or I don't want to show you more because there's a lot to show, but all the regular apps would be quite boring. But what I want to show you is, of course, for 160 bucks you will also get the Moto G. Now, is it worth it to buy Nokia or should you get an Android? Now, with Motorola you have a little bit higher display resolution. The display size is actually the same. Let's just do here on both the maximum display brightness. We have here also the maximum already set up, so you can see size-wise almost exactly the same. Thickness also a little bit different. Design here with Motorola. You can also change here the back covers, but we have here, for example, the LED flash, which we here don't have, and also front camera for 160 bucks. But what you cannot do here is have a micro SD in, where here you have the possibility to add up to 128 gigabytes of internal memory. Also, dual SIM is not available with Motorola, and the battery is also, I think, a little bit smaller in the Motorola device, but otherwise, price-wise, it's exactly the same. Android maybe has a few other apps, or more apps you could say, but of course, I think Windows Phone is just a lot easier to use, and maybe even looks nicer. So, enough about the Moto. Let's see an iPhone, because size-wise that's the device most people know how big it is. So 4-inch versus 4.5-inch. You can see size-wise the height is almost exactly the same. On the side it's a little bit wider than Nokia. Here, no, they are perfectly on top of each other. Otherwise, thickness same. Camera, of course, different, better LED flashes, but otherwise, of course, metal, but triple the price, or even 4 times the price of the Nokia Lumia 630, which I'm done reviewing for you guys. So thank you much for tuning in. My name is Balaj. I hope you liked it. There will be a few other videos also in my YouTube channel, so check those out. Thank you much for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe.